You may have seen a little thing online a few years ago called the Dark Knight trailer spoof, something I caught in high school and kind of inspired me to start making YouTube videos myself when, they just got, 9 million views. We're sitting down with Craig Deering to talk about acting and directing. Cue the music.
That's the music you should use.
Oh yeah,
that's your new theme song.
Yeah,
it's me.
I will.
It's me just singing.
I will tell the person who made the other song that his is trash.
Bye.
Welcome everyone to the Entertainment Buffet podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Prosek. As I said before, we're sitting down with Craig Deering from Evil Iguana Production.
Hello.
How's it going, Craig?
Not too bad. How about you?
Not too bad. Busy day.
Yes.
But,
very busy day.
Interesting way to wrap up by,
Yeah.
meeting someone who I used to watch on YouTube in high school. Which makes us both sound old, but it's...
Yeah.
But before we get started chatting about both acting and directing, do all the plugs we got to get out of the way. Please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. May seem like it doesn't matter, guys, but it actually helps us reach a broader audience by putting us higher on the rankings. Some algorithm bullshit on iTunes. So go ahead and do that. If you leave a review, good or bad, we'll read it on the podcast. So you want to hate? Go ahead. I'll read it. Thank you, because you put the effort to hate me over not listening at all. So
this is true.
This
is
a
good
point.
If
you want to just email us for potential guests in the Chicago area you'd like on the podcast, or maybe topics you'd like us to talk about, entertainmentbuffet@gmail.com. We have new episodes coming every other Tuesday. Or if you'd like to check out some of our video work, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or just entertainmentbuffet.com. We have sketches and web shows. A lot are in the works. I actually just got back from filming our first episode of a little web series we have called Awkbot, about an awkward butler robot that we'll be working on.
Interesting.
So, yes. My co-writer Jerry just said, "Hey, have we ever needed a robot?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, I got one. We used it." So that's...
Oh, the number of sketches I've done with that. Do we need this prop? Nope. Well, all right, let's film with it.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. But yeah, so please subscribe, like, share, all that stuff on all those social medias, so you don't miss the new content coming your way in the next couple months, guys. And my last plug, please go listen to some friends of the show's podcast, Movie Trailer Trash, with Bethany and Charlie Duber. They talk about newest trailers, whether they're going to go see that movie in theaters or not. It's based solely on the trailer. Also got The Brothers Marvel, where Charlie and Vinny Duber are reading old comics from Marvel, back when Stan Lee was running the show in the 60s with Fantastic Four and Hulk. They're quite racist and quite sexist, but also they make no logical sense in science whatsoever, which is what makes them so lovely. So check out The Brothers Marvel. And lastly, check out a friend of the show, Michael Palmendari's podcast, The Slobber Knocker, wrestling podcast that I got to be a guest on, and he has tons of fun guests coming his way, so check that out if you're like me and you love wrestling. But... Whew, that was a mouthful.
There you go.
We're getting more...
Podcast done.
Yeah,
That's
podcast done. All right. Thanks for coming, Craig.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm just going to hang out with your dog for a little bit, and then I'll be on my way. But, so before we do the LO of the week, Craig, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, for those who may not know what Evil Iguana is.
Evil Iguana Productions is a production company that... now it is an actual LLC production company.
Oh.
But way back in the day, it was just a YouTube channel. A couple of us friends making weird videos in my basement, my parents' basement. So
Natural, you know.
To this day, no one knows how we came up with the name. None of us remember the story the same way, so
yes,
got a little bit of a mystery there. And
your co-creator Alan was on episode 14, and he also said how we don't know. You guys don't know how you came up with the name.
No one knows.
maybe that's for a good thing. Because
it probably is. It's probably not a really good story anyway.
If it was a terrible story, everyone would be like, you should just
forget it.
Say you don't remember.
Yeah, it's better that way.
But as I brought up earlier, and when I was on the podcast with Alan, back when I was in the middle of high school, I remember I really wanted to show all my friends how good the Dark Knight trailer was. And then that's where we accidentally stumbled upon the Dark Knight trailer spoof. And before you know it, I was watching, like 7-8 episodes of the Alan and Craig show.
Yep.
And what really had me hooked is because I'm born and raised from Geneva, Illinois, and it looked like you guys were from the Chicago area as well.
Oh, yeah.
You're from DuPage or around that area?
Hanover Park, Carroll Stream area.
Nice. Yeah, so I was like, hey, these are guys that are relatively my age. They have full-on costumes. They're recreating a Dark Knight trailer spoof. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I need to get off my ass and stop talking about doing videos and start doing them. So
that was actually one of the pieces of advice my parents gave me when I was like,
really?
When I was like, I think I'm going to go into film, and like I would just talk about it and sit there and just like talk about it, like, well, are you actually going to film anything? I'm like, I should probably do that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, because I talked about. Back when I was in like grade school, my parents had like the huge Panasonic shoot straight to VHS.
Yep, we had that too.
And yeah, we totally played with that in grade school, but none of my other friends were quite into it. So I kind of fell off for a little while. But then when I saw you guys and, we had some TV classes at Geneva High School, I was like, you know what? Fuck the rest of my friends who don't want to do this. I'm going to find some people who do like to do this because there are people out there.
Oh, there's tons and tons of people.
Yeah, there's got to be other nerds like me who want to make ridiculous shit and put it online.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So many people. That's all we did.
So over the years, you guys kind of transitioned from sketches and trailer spoofs more into now you're tackling short films, feature films, pilots.
Yeah, all the big stuff. We kind of, like, we're not done with YouTube, but we're done with the whole, like, worrying about posting every week and keeping up with the social media for your YouTube channel and stuff. We really want to focus on the bigger projects, the meatier stuff. So we got web series, TV pilot we're working on, just finished a feature, we're writing another one, so
still busy, just
all busy, just bigger scale.
Yeah, definitely. And you also recently got accepted into you won some awards at some festivals with your pilot.
Yeah, I don't remember which ones, but we won some award of merit and award of recognition. I cannot tell you which festivals they were for.
Must have been real important.
But I didn't even know we were up for awards. I just got these emails from my buddy, and he's like, "Hey, we won." I'm like, "That's cool. Like, go us."
Yeah.
But it was all for like best TV pilot, and we're really proud of that pilot. So hopefully something happens.
You never know. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I personally, as someone who did see the pilot, I did think it was amazing how, you guys are only a few years older than me, and it just looked so professional, and it looked not like something you would find on YouTube. It looked like, okay, just give these guys a little more money and they're there.
Yeah. That's all we need is the moolah.
That's the thing. Everyone's always like, why aren't you doing more of this? I was like, well, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, because it costs money.
Yeah, because I've worked with tons of wonderful actors and crew who want to do it for free, but at some point, you got to pay the bills.
You have to pay them.
Yeah.
You have to pay them. Gear's not cheap.
Oh,
Locations,
exactly.
Props. There's so much that you don't even think about.
Exactly. You have to think about all those little things that, when you're watching a TV show, sure, it may only be 30 minutes, but that took weeks and dozens and dozens of people, even the craft service people to bring in all the crackers and the fucking coffee. Too much shit.
So many people. It's I don't know how best to describe it, but what analogy to use, but there's just even for the pilot, I think there's a cast of maybe 5 lead characters or whatever, but even all those days on set, there's probably about 20-30 people behind the camera still making it move. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we're sitting down with Craig. We're going to talk about both acting and directing at the same time, because you see any Evil Iguana stuff, it's usually you and Alan, or just you in it.
Yeah.
So before we get underway with that discussion, we got our LOL of the week, so it could be a funny GIF, video, story, meme, picture. Who gives a fuck? But Craig, go ahead and kick us off.
My story, it's a story, happened
I'm all ears.
all of like 4 days ago. I was just up in Wisconsin Dells with my family, and we were in one of the giant wave pools. And before the giant wave pool, we had a huge lunch. Decided it was best to go into this giant wave pool with all these violent waves and crashing around. And right when a wave is about to hit me, my brother dives forward and just punches me in the stomach. So not only do I think I'm about to puke forward, but I get hit in the back with this massive wave that just throws me on my ass. I'm tumbling through the pool, can't get up because another wave hits me. I'm still thinking I'm going to puke because my stomach hurts so bad. And
yeah,
he just ignited a war right there.
So you're waiting to seek your revenge.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen, Mark.
Wave pools,
I'm coming for you.
Wave pools in the Dells. It's still, I don't care how old you are. It's a fun place to go.
It's the best.
Yeah. So we're sitting down with Craig. We're gonna talk about both acting and directing at the same time, because you see any Evil Iguana stuff, it's usually you and Alan, or just you in it.
Yeah.
So before we get underway with that discussion, we got our LOL of the week. So it could be a funny GIF, video, story, meme, picture. Who gives a fuck? But Craig, go ahead and kick us off.
My story, it's a story, happened
I'm all ears.
all of like 4 days ago. I was just up in Wisconsin Dells with my family, and we were in one of the giant wave pools. And before the giant wave pool, we had a huge lunch. Decided it was best to go into this giant wave pool with all these violent waves and crashing around. And right when a wave is about to hit me, my brother dives forward and just punches me in the stomach. So not only do I think I'm about to puke forward, but I get hit in the back with this massive wave that just throws me on my ass. I'm tumbling through the pool, can't get up because another wave hits me. I'm still thinking I'm gonna puke because my stomach hurts so bad. And
yeah,
he just ignited a war right there.
So you're waiting to seek your revenge.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen, Mark.
Wave pools,
I'm coming for you.
Wave pools in the Dells. It's still, I don't care how old you are. It's a fun place to go.
It's the best.
Yeah, go-karts, little roller coasters, fucking,
It's great.
Yeah, so naturally. So yeah, my LO of the week is a little story. I'm kind of gonna bounce off of the Dells, and one thing I went to in middle school was Six Flags Great America at Gurnee. My 8th grade class, towards the end of the year, kind of a little field trip type thing. It was for some bullshit like science, but it was just an excuse to go to Six.
Yeah,
the teachers were like, we want to go on roller coasters.
Gravity.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going there, and of course, every year I heard that it was beautiful out.
Yeah.
But when we decided to go, and this was about 10 or so years ago, it was windy, rainy, cold as fuck, and when you're on those roller coasters, even if it's raining a little, it feels like goddamn bullets.
Yeah. Painful.
And one thing was we still wanted to go on the roller coasters because, like, what you're already there. You're just, it's cold, I'm gonna go stay inside. Like, no, you're going to still go on rides.
Yep.
And so we went on the one roller coaster. Who, stereotypical roller coasters, they love to have the picture taken of you and everyone else while you're going down a drop or some big moment, maybe after a loop-de-loop. And I think it was Raging Bull, it may have been. We are coming down to the big drop where they're about to take a picture, and the water was going so fast from the rain into our faces that when you look at the picture, and I wish I could find it, it must have been lost in moving, it just looks like we are being shot. We are just wincing, our eyes are shut, like people are like, ah! Like, it looks so painful, but like we're also like, yay!
This is okay.
This is fun, but it's also so painful. Which, who would have thought that just raindrops on a roller coaster would feel like someone's throwing a bunch of goddamn thumbtacks
flying into them at like 60 miles an hour with their face.
Yeah, and I just remember it was so brutal that our one teacher actually made shirts that says, "We survived Great America 06." And I probably still have it in a closet at my parents' house somewhere. But yeah, that was a brutal day.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, so, but we survived, class of 06 in the 8th grade. We survived. But yeah, we'll not waste any more time. We'll jump into the topic while we're sitting down with Craig. Acting and directing at the same time. This is something that both you and I have dabbled in.
Yep.
I'll admit I don't really consider myself an actor or a director. I more so like to write, but occasionally I'll write a character that's just me. Yeah. So I'll go in there, or I'll direct because, it's very simple. And you're running back and forth behind the camera. You're running to see how the shot looks, but you're also worried about if you're funny or whatever the scene is calling for. So I figured who better to talk about this with than Craig Deering.
Oh, the number of projects I've done this for.
Yeah, I can imagine. So talk about, when you're first getting started, like challenges, pros, cons, things about having to juggle both these jobs at the same time.
I personally love both of them. Like, acting and directing are my two favorite aspects of filmmaking. And when we first got started, half the reason why I juggled both was because of just lack of people. Or you write something and you're just like, what, I want to play this part though because I wrote it and it sounds funny and I want to do it and I'm directing it, so I'm gonna say I could do it.
Who's gonna tell you no?
Yeah, exactly. There's no one to tell me no, so I'm gonna do it. But there's so many pros and cons because it's difficult. There's one of the good things about the pros is that you already know what you want. So there's less you have to describe other than blocking. To at least yourself. Obviously, other actors, you gotta hit this beat, do this emotion, blah, blah, blah. But with yourself, you already know. You just go in and do your thing. But then, you gotta run back and forth. Mm-hmm. I've gotten to a point where in a lot of the shoots, I just trust the DP at this point. A lot of them... Yes. We've used the same DP. It's like Alan or myself or our buddy Seth and stuff. I have them call action. I'll do it. I've set up the shot. I've told the actors what I want, and then if I felt like it was good on set, I know that he got the shot. If he proves that he got the shot, I'm like, all right, let's just move on. Yeah. Instead of running back, checking it, rewatching the entire shot, and
that is a key thing too that you brought up. Having a DP that'll just be honest and say like, we got it or we didn't. Yep. Because that's something that even when I'm just directing, when I'm not even acting too, is I'm not a super visual person. I'm more about the performances of who's on screen, and so I like to go to the DP like, all right, like let me know what you want, get it. And I'm just going to assume that you have it because I'm worried about what they're doing on screen. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not even watching through the viewfinder. I'm the
exact same way.
I like just looking at them talking across from one another or whatever they're doing because I want to see.
It's a big trust game with your DP. You have to trust them that they're going to deliver whatever shot you need, because I'm the exact same way. I'm more about the performances and whatnot, and I don't go in thinking about what shots I need. I don't have shot lists. I never do that.
Oh, I hardly do either.
I never do that. I can't.
We sound like we're the same. Yeah. We're just like DP's like, if you want to do it.
Exactly. I might have an idea. Like, I know for a fact we need to punch in on this part. I know we need a close up of this, or I'd like you to shoot 60 frames a second for this part or whatever. But most of the time, it's free reign for them. Yes. If they want to just get coverage, cool. If they want to do the whole thing in one take, all right, let's do it. We're going to figure this out. We'll make it work. Like, if that's what you think is going to be best, that's what we're going to do.
I think that's why some DPs probably in the past are not a fan of, like, this type of style, because they're like, no, like, what do you exactly want? And it's like, no. Like, you, like, went to school, or you want to be a DP, cinematographer, or whatever you want to call it, because you love visuals. So, like, you do what you think is best, and also, like, this is your time to shine on that. I'm worried about, that this person's delivering this joke. Because if I'm worried about the visuals, then a joke can fall, a dramatic moment cannot turn out how you want. So, I totally understand how that is, and probably why some DPs would not enjoy working with people like us.
I feel like most do, because it does give them a way to shine. And all that you really have to do is you just have to really, like, for all the bigger projects, the skits and all that stuff in our past were whatever. Even if you don't get the shot, it's a YouTube skit that's going to be online. It's 2 minutes long. We never really put a whole lot of effort into the visuals, like, up until recently. But with the bigger projects, you have to always be in contact with them about the story. And by the time you're on set, they know what you want. Yeah. Because they know how you're thinking, how you're going to pace everything. I always have the actors rehearse 2 or 3 times in front of the DP before he's even setting up his shot, so he knows what they're going to be doing, so he could start thinking. And then I tell him my editing notes, because I do think about editing a lot. I first started in editing before anything else.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about the editing of the scene, and I'm like, this is going to be a faster, like, this is going to be slower, we're going to do this, this, and this, and he could get a general idea of how the pacing and editing is going to go as well. So, and I think a good DP needs to know editing. Yeah. Like, maybe not, how to, actually edit. They don't need to know the software.
They have to do it in their head, though.
Yeah, they need to be able to cut in their head, because it's crucial. To know if a shot's going to match up with another shot, or if it's going to seem weird to jump from this angle to that angle and whatnot. So
because that's the biggest thing when it comes to, like, when you're juggling certain angles, and then when you give it to an editor, a big thing in editing is whether or not something is going to be jarring.
Yep.
And sometimes it's not the editor's fault, because that's what they were given. Mm-hmm. So you need to make it as easy for them as possible to where they could just go like, oh, this is what they were going for.
You need to give them stuff to play.
Exactly.
So
choices and opportunities to fiddle with things that maybe can create a new type of transition that'll help
the amount
the story.
Of edits you can make per scene is virtually endless. So, and you need to make it that way for them. You can't just have 2 angles that already don't work and be like, make magic with this. Just do it. You're the editor.
Yeah.
No. That's why I think one of the greatest things is like learning editing and just pacing and all that is in-camera editing. Like, do a couple videos of that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard.
Well, yeah, I think that's why, when you are going for directing, you should know a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. You should know what the DP is, what it's like being a DP. You should know what it's like. You said you started at editing.
Yeah.
So you kind of were seeing, like, you may have had did you have any projects where someone else may have shot it and you're just like, oh, what did you give me here? How am I going to...
Yeah, a lot of the editing projects we got in school when I first started editing were just, here's a scene and here's all the shots they did, and it was complete garbage.
Yeah.
There'd be incomplete stuff. You don't know how a character got from point A to point B. Lines are just, the actor purposely screwed up every single line. So it's like, what take do I use? Like, well, you got to find a way to make it work. Like,
yeah. So yeah, with the acting aspect, you mentioned that usually you would have a DP that you trust. Did you also try to have, whether it was Alan or someone else, kind of co-direct that could be totally honest with you and say, like, hey, did I suck that scene?
Yeah. Alan was always good about that. He'd tell me I suck even if I did a good job, so that helped a lot. and the other ones, like Seth was always great. If I didn't want to run over and see the shot, he'd be like, I noticed this. It's your call if you want to do it again or not, which is always very helpful.
Yeah.
But I've been on sets with directors who don't want anyone else's input.
Ooh.
I am very pro, give me everything you got.
Me too.
So I think it's very helpful if you are more open to advice from other people on set if you're going to do the whole acting and directing thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're going to see things that you weren't, because you were, like, you can go back and yes, you could watch the footage right there in the moment, but you can't really focus on it and study it until you're in the editing suite, wherever that may be. So I think it's best to take that advice because you're in the moment, in the zone, and there's so many other elements that are outside of your control that you might not have seen and won't see until you're in the editing. Yeah,
because you could have something as simple as, like, maybe your performance was fine, but, like, you did something strange, like you didn't realize it, and your hair was fucked up a little, or you looked slightly at the camera, and you know. But if you're like, no, it was fine. how would you, now you're stuck in editing, you have to go back and either reshoot or...
You're stuck with the footage.
Exactly. So I'm the same way when it comes to directing. I'm like, if you have anything, whether it's an actor who you want to improv something, you want to tweak the dialogue, DP, if you think that this shot is pointless,
yeah.
I'm like, just tell me. Because, in my eyes, like, sure, a lot of people say the director, like, oh, well, this project is my baby. And it's like, no, it's everyone involved's baby.
The project might be a bit more your baby than anyone else's, because you're the one thinking about, as a director, every single aspect of it.
Yes.
From conception to, it's completed.
Yeah, the months of editing.
Yeah. Years. When the lights go out, just finished. It's been 3.5 years, I think.
Wow.
So...
And that was
even longer. I started filming in 2013. I started writing in 2010.
Jesus.
So it's been closer to 6 years.
Wow.
But so it's a bit more your baby. But it's you're right. It's everyone came onto this project because they liked it.
Yeah.
So there's aspects of it that they're going to take very, very seriously, whatever position they're put in. So don't discredit that they. And you're also hiring them for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm hiring this, costume designer because they have a better eye for what the character should be wearing. Yeah. I might have an idea. I'll tell them my ideas, and they'll come up with something 1,000 times better than if you were to give me the check and make me go buy their costumes.
Yeah. And
so why wouldn't I listen to them?
And like the case too, and we brought it up before, especially when you're not paying them.
Yeah.
What I like to always say with the entertainment buffet is like, we're not getting paid, but I want everyone happy with the product that they're involved with. Because if you're not happy with it, then you're literally wasting your time.
Yeah.
Sure, you may get the set experience of working on a different project, but I would like everyone, when they're done with, the sketch or the web episode, whatever it is, to be able to go like, hey, yeah, I worked on that. Opposed to like,
just forget I did that one.
I helped on that, but it wasn't really...
Just take that one off my resume.
Exactly. But, so yeah, definitely. I encourage all directors to be like that. Be like, tell me what you got. But
you don't have to take the advice. That's the best part.
Exactly.
Listen to it. You don't have to take it. If you know what you want, do it. But there is no harm in hearing, and don't take all advice. Because there are some times where you're on a time crunch, you need to do your thing, you know what you want, just get it. But be open.
Yeah. Because the way I look at it is sometimes I've had that where it was either an actor or a DP who was like, well, what about this? I think it'd be really cool. And in my head, I know it quite won't work or it won't be what I want. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll shoot it. And then then I can decide in editing.
Yeah.
Then, for all I know, well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, well, we tried, but, and I'll show them and see how it didn't work. And they're like, oh, okay, I was wrong. Opposed to, that could kill a momentum of the set where you're just like, no. And they're like, oh, well, fuck me,
Right, I can't believe I brought that up.
Yeah, the Craig guy just knows everything, I guess.
What a jackass.
But, yeah, so that's one thing I was actually going to ask you. Which do you like better?
If I had to do one for the rest of my life, it'd be directing.
Okay.
I like acting. I think I'm decent at it. I don't think I'm great. I like the crazier characters.
Yes.
Because I could do that a lot better than get all emotional and serious. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to directing, I can find people that are 1,000 times better than me, get them in those roles, and then I just create the world, which is what I enjoy anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I may be the same way if I had to choose between acting and directing. I mean, if any of those, I would choose writing. But I definitely like directing because I would rather be behind the camera and be able to just give an actor an advice on, like, they're already doing great, but how to just tweak it to make it that much better.
Yeah.
Opposed to, being the guy who's cracking all the jokes.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I didn't take as many acting classes or what, but, like, I'm the kind of actor that sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Or like, I'm staring at them really long.
I'm just staring.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And I have this problem, too, because a lot of the times I wrote, or like I said, we're directing, is I'll know the lines of all the characters, So I will look to the person right before they give the line.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, now it's her turn. Now it's his turn. Now it's her turn. And then I'm like...
You're just thinking of the script, not living the moment.
Exactly.
Like the actor's supposed to do.
I'm not actually this character. I'm just there, just like, your line? Ah, that's a good one. You know, and you're just...
Your line's coming up next.
Yeah. I can't wait for the punchline.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. Now here's a different twist on that question. Which do you think you are better at? Would it also be directing?
Yeah. I think when I'm given what I need...
Yeah, because you're not very funny. No.
When I can be given what I needed, I think I'm good. Which I know is a lot to... Like, everyone's like, yeah, well, if I had everything I needed too, I could be good. I'm good. Yeah. I'm just gonna stick. I think I'm better.
Decide.
I think I'm gonna.
I'm just so talented at both of them.
I think I'm decent at both. There's a lot of room to grow in both.
Oh, of course, we're young. We have plenty of years to get better at anything.
I enjoy directing more. I think I get directing more. I think about directing more.
Yes.
Every day when I'm like walking to work, thinking about my next project, I'm thinking of it as a director, not as an actor.
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
same way. I think it's also because the projects where I am quote unquote acting, I don't even call it acting because I usually write my characters to just be me, or like a slightly heightened version of me. So I'm like, I'm not really like everyone's like, oh, you're a good actor. I was like, how? Being me?
Being me, yeah.
I'm just literally standing there saying something I would say. But this time, I've crafted that it be a joke.
It also helps that most times I have directed and acted, I have Alan there as a co-director. So it's like 23, the first feature I did, I was the main actor. And that was mainly out of I don't know who I could get to come on set every single day for the next year and a half for sure and be a lead character. Everyone else is like popping in now and then, but this guy's got to be in every scene, so I'll just do it.
Yeah, you don't want someone that'll commit for 6 months and then all of a sudden drop on you.
But with like the skits and our latest web series, Alan's always there as well to be like, you fucked up. This is terrible. Like, we need to think of something better for you to do, which helps a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, that definitely, that's awesome that you guys have that kind of partnership. That there's many sort of writing or directing teams out there that have that you could just be like, all right, did I fuck up?
Yeah. Even the next feature we're writing, we're hoping to be the two main actors, but we also want to be the two directors.
Wow. So
every scene, at least one of us, either both of us are in the scene, then it's going to become, all right, we got to go and watch the footage or trust the DP. But every scene, at least one of us will most likely be behind the camera as well if we're not in the shot together, which is very helpful.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to come and watch that because
it's going to be ridiculous.
Because luckily the times I have co-directed with someone, they weren't acting as well, so they could strictly be behind the camera. But now that you guys are going to be double for both, that's definitely, you're gonna have to leave a lot of room with your DP to good thing you have that person that you can trust. But yeah, so now do you have any stories or certain instances you remember, like maybe you're acting and whether it's not necessarily you, but maybe someone in the scene is kind of not getting it, so like you're running back and forth, you're looking at the footage, did they get it, did they not, or like you're kind of not second guessing it, but you
can usually tell if I'm acting with you. I can tell if you're not going to get it because I'm living the scene with you. So, and as the director mindset, I know what I want out of the scene already. I'm just living the moment, and I can be like, this person's not getting it, we need to do something. So you go through the take, and I don't even need to watch the footage because I already knew, and then I just work like, let's do this, try this, let's tweak this part, and then we'll give it another shot and see if it works. And I don't really need to run behind the camera to check because I already lived it with them, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. And that's something that if I plan to perform more, I need to work on personally, because sometimes I'm so worried about my lines and what's next, and, what should I be doing with my face? I'm looking at their nose a really long time, or do I not laugh? Like just certain things like that, to where I'm like, fuck, like I didn't even watch them. I stared at them, I heard them, but I didn't listen.
And I just regurgitated my lines.
Exactly. So, but that's again because I'm more worried about not fucking up those lines than I am the performances.
The other thing that's very highly in our favor with me and Alan when we've done this is most of our stuff is improv. We have scripts, we never use them. They're more like guidelines. You definitely need to say this or do this because it affects the next scene, which we're shooting tomorrow. But otherwise, it's fair game. So you're not really thinking of the lines. You're just you're living the scene, just saying what you want to say besides those little beats.
Yeah.
Which helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. If
you're comfortable with improv, some people would totally crack under that.
Yeah.
They'd be even more nervous. They'd rather have the lines in their head.
Yeah. Have you guys taken any improv classes or?
No.
Yeah, I took 2 at Second City, but not that I didn't learn anything. I just I realized that if I'm going to improv, I'm better on a film set doing it than I am on a stage.
Oh, they're completely different worlds.
Yeah, or even just I know you guys you did stand up at our live show. I'm not the best at doing improv while I'm on stage. But when I'm in obviously on camera you can cut and you can say that sucks or something like that.
You can't do that on stage.
Exactly.
And that was one of the big things that drew me to film just to begin with. I started in theater and I was very curious what the other side was like in the film world. So I started taking some film classes. Oh, this is great. I screw up.
We can
do it again.
We can just burn that footage.
This is great.
Yeah, I definitely realized that more lately. Where we were wrapping up Plan B, I'm one of the characters, and I just loved. We would do 2 or 3 takes by the script, and then I like to do 1 or 2. Let's just go wherever.
Yeah.
Obviously,
we do that too.
Yeah.
With Vigilant, we did that. There was a lot where we very heavily stuck to the script. And then when we know we had it, we're just okay, now do a take or 2 and have fun. Yes.
And, that's sort of something, it has to do, with the writing is, because I know you guys write a lot of your stuff as well, is what I like to do is, I'll write, a joke, I'll say, oh, that thing is fatter than a blank.
Yeah.
And I'll write one in the script, but I'm I wasn't proud of that. Feel free to fill in that blank at the end.
I'm just like that with all my scripts in general. The last feature, When the Lights Go Out, is a horror film.
Okay.
So it's not even a joke punchline type thing. But when the actors were can I tweak this line? Can I tweak I'm you're the character. I wrote this just to lay out the scene.
Yes.
If you think your character's going to say this, say it. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the script. But there's no harm in doing a take and seeing how it plays with the rest of the characters.
Yeah, of course. I'm the same way. I say that right.
You can't take it personally.
Yeah.
You got to do what's best for the scene.
What's best for the final product.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm look, I know I wrote this a certain way, but sometimes the way I write it or I'm picturing it while directing in my head, it makes sense, but sometimes when you're another person reading it, you're blah, 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 this doesn't feel natural. Mm-hmm. Then tweak the words so that it's the same message. I don't care how you say it.
Exactly.
Unless it's something like you said that we have to point that out because that's going to come up later in another scene.
It's exactly like I said. As long as the message is the same, you get to the same end goal in the scene, that's all that matters. Yeah. You shouldn't take it personally that they didn't say it word for word exactly like you wrote it.
Because, that's... Sometimes it just helps them, the actors and the scene flow better so that you can keep things going. Because if you're stopping constantly no, cut... You gotta switch you gotta fix that.
The word the in there. So if you could just add the, that'd be great.
I put a very specific It's okay. You went okay. Yeah, we're gonna need to run that
another
back.
Thanks.
I'm gonna need to check your quantity of you're giving. Yeah, but it sounds like everything you're saying is yeah,
twins.
Yeah, you guys, it sounds like you're doing exactly what I like to do.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I joked with Alan, and you brought him up, how, luckily you have him there. He said luckily he has you there. Like, apparently I just needed one of you guys. I just needed a Craig or an Alan.
Get a Craig. They're better than Alan's. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I'll admit, during our podcast, we did give you a little shit.
Oh, I heard.
I think it's because for years watching Alan and Craig's show with my friends, and like the Alan character would always give the Craig character shit. So like I think just watching it as a viewer, I'm like, oh, we just give him shit.
It's what you do. I've been getting it for years.
Yeah,
it's whatever. And
he brought up how people would recognize you guys, and they'd be like, "Oh, hi, Craig."
They would give me hugs, and it was you could tell right off the bat. They were just like, "Hey, Alan." Hi. Hey, Craig.
Yeah, kind of an asshole.
Like, this is great. He's like, where's my love?
Craig's getting phone numbers left and right. Alan's getting dirty looks. Maybe you're wishing, like halfway through a project, that maybe you're like, you know what? Should I have had someone else be this role? Because it's so hard to be impartial to your own self, because you're always gonna be so much more critical on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah. I wasn't sure with like your feature. You're like, why did I?
With 23, absolutely. Every time I watch, I'm like, this is terrible. This is awful. Why did I agree to do this?
Exactly.
Both. I could have gotten Alan to play the lead, and just hadn't been the supporting character that he was actually playing. When it comes to skits, not really, because those are like 2 minutes to 5 minutes long. But the bigger projects, yeah, especially that movie, it's just there's a lot of things that I change about my performance at least.
Yeah, I even sent it to you. My last short film, Weighed Down. I don't like doing drama when I'm acting. I don't like it at all. I feel like just uncomfortable, and I feel like it's that I'm like sleeping there, or like it's like I'm being too dramatic, like a soap opera. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try it. This has got comedy and drama, so maybe it'll like lighten it a little.
Yeah.
I got a co-director, but like every time I watch it, I'm like, if I just had a different main actor. But of course, everyone else is like, oh, you were fine. I'm like, yeah, but look at the face I'm making.
I could have made a better face.
Yeah, I'm squinting my eyes. What am I doing there? I got sunburned that day.
It's not easy to do both. It also helps, I think, in our sense. I keep bringing this up, but with Alan there, that he acts and directs as well, so he can tell what's going on in my mind from an actor perspective as well. If he sees I'm not doing something correctly, or I could do the same for him. If he's acting in something, I'm like, okay, I've done this kind of a scene before. Tried thinking of this instead, and then that's how you get through, because you lived both roles.
Yes,
the acting and the directing.
Well, I think that's what at Columbia. I'm not sure. Did you take directing classes?
No.
Okay.
That's actually the one thing I took everything else but directing classes.
So yeah, I only took a couple, but I liked the one before you could take any directing classes, is you had to take an acting for filmmakers class.
I did take that one.
Yes, and I thought that was very, very helpful, because it's like you have to, and it's not just about the performance. Like, you put that aside, it's how you communicate as a director to the actor, because if you're thinking about when you're acting, and then I'm acting in a scene, and Craig, you come up to me and you're like, yeah, just do this, and I'm like, what? What is he talking about? Those two notes, they conflict.
They don't make any sense.
Yeah, but so that way they flip it, and you're like, all right, so that's how I would like to be talked to, so now this is how I should talk to actors. I think everyone should do that before they direct.
I probably should have taken that class a bit more seriously, because my memories of that class are completely different.
Yeah, but that was like the main thing I took from it, was that I was like, okay, how would this makes sense not only for me, but also for who I'm speaking to.
That's what, when it comes to me and Alan, that's what I was trying to say, is as people who have done both, it was easier to approach actors on the sets of the bigger projects and talk about what we wanted. Because as an actor, we know the kind of notes we need.
Yes.
So it was easier to tell them to do it a certain way. It varies actor to actor as well, but you get the general idea, like how to approach an actor.
Exactly. Because that was one thing too, and I would notice various kids in my directing classes that they were just nervous to talk to actors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe you would be better at editing, just because like that's a lot of what directing is talking to the actors.
A lot. This is one of me and Alan's biggest film pet peeves. But a lot of directors just want to say they're directors.
Yes.
They don't know how to direct. They can't grasp how to make anything. They just like be like, I'm the director.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
It's more than a fancy chair.
It's more than the chair and just saying action.
Yeah.
They want to say action and say they made the movie, when in reality they probably did nothing for the movie or help the movie in any way, because they didn't know how to perform the job. It's one of me and Alan's biggest, we see it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this person just wants to say they're director. They don't get any projects finished. That's probably one of the biggest things you could do.
Oh, God.
Is people who just brag and brag and brag about all these things they're doing, and then you never see them.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great. I'm glad you're working on these. We ever going to see them? Because if it's just being a paperweight, that means nothing.
Yeah, the funniest thing, and you may have met someone like this in the Chicago area, I won't name names, but back when me and my best friend Tyler years ago were working on our web series Madness Uncorked, we only did 3 episodes. Although our first one was a full 30 minutes, so it was kind of pilot length, so that was something very new for us. But at the same time, we had this kid that we both knew, but we didn't exactly like. Yeah, I'm going to start working on a web series myself. We're like, great, cool, what's it called? And he's explaining the premise, and he's like, yeah, I was thinking once we kind of get it underway, we'll pitch it to Hulu or Netflix, and it's like,
I get that. I hear that all the time.
I was like, do you know anyone there? No, but I just think that this concept is so fresh. And I was like, okay, well, let me know when you get the first episode. And he never made anything.
Never made it.
And we only made 3 episodes, but that's 3 more than he did.
Yeah, no, that's a huge red flag that this person just wants to be called a director or whatever.
Yes.
Because they don't finish the project.
Yeah.
They don't. And I think so many people that want to call themselves directors don't realize how much work even the smallest project is.
Yes.
One of our 2-minute skits could take an entire week.
Oh, it could take a week to film. It could take months to edit. Because you want to find this music, and then you're trying to mix the audio, but then you're trying to color correct it, and it's so many, and that's just not even just with directing. Well, I guess it is with directing, because you're seeing like we said, from conception to finale.
Yeah,
is that this isn't something that you can just film a little and just pass off on someone else.
Yep,
you have to see it all the way through. And it's so it sounds like we totally agree. Like the people that like, yeah, I got this idea,
drives me insane.
Just do it then.
Yeah,
do it. There's
people ask me for advice all the time on like, what do I have if I want to start getting into filmmaking? I'm like, just do it. Your first few projects are probably going to be crap. All of them are crap. No, they're not. But everyone's first projects are crap.
Yeah.
The main thing you have to do is finish it, because if you finish it, you're going to learn from it. You're going to know what to do for the next one. You're going to finish that one. It's probably going to be crap, but you're going to learn more from that one. And when you finish a project, crap or not, you're proud that you finished it.
Yeah, you learn something with every single one. One of the better things about like the foundations in the film program when I was at Columbia was, you're making these short films. And it's so funny how like when you're writing it or when you're actually making, you're like, I think this is going to be pretty good. And then you finish it and you're like, that was pretty shitty.
This is terrible.
But now I know not to do this.
Yes.
And now I know.
And the more you finish, the more you're going to finish in the future.
Yes. Exactly.
Because you know the process, and you've learned from the process. You've seen what you've done right, you've seen what you've done wrong. You know what to switch with the doing wrong to make that a success as well. It's all around good idea. Just finish it.
Exactly. Just finish it. I mean, I even tell that to my fellow writers as well, who they love to switch, change, rewrite, delete, and like play with their scripts over and over and over. And the greatest advice that my creative writing teacher in high school ever said, because I did this. My first feature film I wrote was a bank robbery script. I wrote the first.
That's what our new feature's about.
Really?
It's a bank robbery script.
Awesome. I need to. I'll just be a consultant. You actually want to do mine?
Done.
Basically, the first 10 pages, I must have done the first 10 pages 30 times.
Yeah.
It's because I got in the head, everyone's like, oh, the first 10 pages is all they read. I was like, well, fuck.
That'd be perfect.
And so she then said, because I kept showing him, I'm like, okay, what do you think of these? I fixed them. And she's like, Brandon, get to page 110, then you can go back and worry about 1 through 10. And I was like, fuck, she just summed up everything in like a sentence.
Yeah.
Like, because you need to just puke everything out on the page, be done, and then you can go back and see what you have to fix.
Yeah.
But like, and it's the same for like you said, with short films or sketches. Like, you need to just do it, and then you can go back and you can get rid of it, or you can whatever. But
exactly.
If you're just staring at a blank screen,
you've accomplished nothing.
Nothing is ever going to just happen out of thin air.
You're not going to get that Netflix show.
You're not going to get that web series on Netflix and Hulu.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just pitch it to Netflix and Hulu.
Oh, cool. Oh. Good for you.
Yeah, so you got a title and an idea of it. You don't have any footage. Yeah, so as we're kind of wrapping up here, is there any other things that you've learned over the years, maybe advice besides just doing it, to other actor directors, or anything in general that you'd like to share as an actor or as a director?
That's literally my go-to advice for everything. It is. Because for either or, for directing projects, you just need to finish them. And you're going to learn more from that than anything else. You're going to learn more from that than being in school, or from just, I'm going to pitch this to Netflix and never finish anything, and never, even set foot on a set to get it done. And as actors, you have to be on sets as well.
Yeah.
And see projects all the way through, so you could see the finished product and see what you could have worked on.
Yeah, exactly. For acting, you just have to get on different things. Be in a sketch, be in a short film, be in a play.
Yeah.
Be in this. Just be doing things, because if you're constantly just talking about doing anything, then
it means nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
Nope.
So, that was definitely just do it.
Just do it.
Like Shia LaBeouf.
Just do it.
Just do it. But speaking from someone like Craig, who's done way more videos than I have and films, just do it, guys.
Just do it. Nike.
Quote from Shia LaBeouf and Nike.
And Nike. And now Craig Deering.
All three of them, right in a row. I was curious too, like what you said, or which you like better and which you think you're better at, because it's.
I think they'll both be directing. I'll let you know in a week.
Hey Brandon, can you edit the podcast? I think I'm better at acting.
Let's redo that.
It's a tie for both. No, but really, I honestly I think you're very funny at acting as well. Like, especially in Lifelines, I liked kind of seeing you in you're a main role, but you're also kind of like the supporting role.
Yeah.
So you're just like the goofy comic relief in a way.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Which is fine with me.
Yeah, that's what I like being. I don't like being the lead anymore. I want to be the guy in the background making the sassy comment.
There you go. At least you know your strong point.
Yeah. So. I'm just like, fucking Fridays, right?
Penis. All right. You nailed that joke.
Alrighty. But very very good points all around, and I think it's hilarious how after seeing you guys, I think it was almost like 10 years ago now on YouTube, that you pretty much direct the exact same way.
The exact same process.
The exact same way. So we'll transition to our last segment of the podcast. I hate people.
I do hate people.
I said the other day, and I feel like this is like a quote somewhere. I don't think this is mine. It's just like, God, I hate people, but I want to entertain them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's how I feel every day.
I can't stand them, but I really like making them laugh. So my I hate people of the week is... has to do with traffic. I brought this up a couple times. Ever since this last year or so, I've been driving back and forth from the suburbs to the city so many asshole drivers out there.
That was actually going to be my exact same.
And I think yours is a little different, but like my thing is, guys, let people in. Like, it's a good karma. Like, you let someone else in, someone else should let you in. Like, it's just, if we're constantly like, no, you can wait. That's how pileups get started. And then the highway, it should take an hour for me to get from Aurora to the city, and now it's taking 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because people are like, well, I'm more important. Why? Because unless you have your pregnant wife in the back, like,
I have to brainstorm my Netflix idea.
I gotta get home to pitch to Netflix about my thing I never started. But yeah, just let people in, guys. And like, I'll admit there are sometimes I'm in a bad mood and I don't instantly do it, but I always try to let at least 1 or 2 people in at some point, because I'm like, all right, go on. But also, when you're the one trying to get over, you're like, motherfucker, like, let me in.
Yeah. Mine is the people that just, they don't care if they're going to kill you, they're going to get in. That's happened like 15 times this week alone. It's just people just flying out of like parking lots, and they're just like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
If you don't stop, we're both dead. I don't care. I'm like, you asshole.
Exactly. Yeah. That just happened to me the other day. I was going through a green light, and obviously the people in the opposing lane are coming towards me, and he's waiting to make that left across me, and he starts going.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be my right of way, and if I hadn't slowed down, we literally would have collided. Yeah, he would have just T-boned me.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
Nuts.
You can't just... I looked, there was no one behind me.
Drives me insane.
So if he would have waited for me, he would have had all the time in the world he needed. But he had to... No, I gotta go right now. I gotta go and, get my fucking Subway sandwich. Christ. But, so yeah, after I hate people, I like to... Let's take a breathe in. And a breathe out. People.
Ellie just hit the table.
Sounds like fucking Hulk. Thanks again for coming on, Craig.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again, both for the regular podcast, or I believe you'll want to come on sometime for Film Tweakers.
Always about it. Always.
That's one thing you do as a director, is like, why did they do that?
I don't get it.
Why? If they tweaked this thing, it would be amazing.
Idiots.
Here we are, like, you've made 2 features and I've made none. But hey, someday. But so yeah, well, Craig, is there anything you would like to plug? People could check out Evil Iguana.
Evil Iguana Productions, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We got our movie When the Lights Go Out, We're Shopping Around. Our new web series Vigilant.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Check out Vigilant. It's him. It's sort of like Craig kind of doing a version of Kick-Ass.
Yeah, just more drunk.
It was entertaining when I checked it out. But yeah, so check Evil Iguana Productions out YouTube. EvilIguanaProduction.com or
EvilIguana.com.
EvilIguana.com.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I had to remember our own website.
That's a lot more. Evil Iguana Production, that would just be too much of a tongue twister. But yeah, so check them out as well. For the podcast here, please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes so you don't miss new episodes coming, and also help us get out to a bigger audience.
Yeah.
We're going to have more guests like Craig, and Alan's going to probably be coming back at some point. At one point, I maybe have to have both of you guys on here.
There you go.
And just have you two just fuck around, make fun of each other for an hour.
That's all it would be.
That's what I had you do for the live show. I was like, I really think dual stand-up would be hilarious for you two.
That's all it was.
Abbott and Costello up there. So please check us out on iTunes. I didn't mention before, but we're also on Podbean, Stitcher, Blubrry, Google Play, whatever. There's lots of fucking podcast things.
Everything.
We're on there. Find it if you're an Apple hater. But and check out Entertainment Buffet on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, entertainmentbuffet.com. Sketches, web shows, lots of shit coming your way, guys. Come on.
So watch it.
So watch it, listen, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.